Hello, this is Father Pete, and I wanted to put out a Easter update to all of our parishioners before we start Holy Week. One thing that's been on my mind, it's very obvious that people are really starting to come back to church as the pandemic decreases and also as people get their shots. So that's great to see. We had a huge turnout of attendees for Father Matthew's mission. He did a Easter preparation mission for us on the face of Jesus, and I know that a lot of people wanted to come out and see Father Matt, but also the crowd was very large. I think that's also a sign that people are starting to get back out. And he talked about seeing Jesus in other people and in the events of our time in other people's faces. It was a beautiful presentation. So Father Matt, thank you for coming out and doing that. We have a couple other events to get us in a spirit of Easter. Besides our regular Triduum events, one thing is a movie I'd like to show. It'll be Saturday night, this coming Saturday night after the 5 p.m. Mass. It's called The Christ Quake. It's by Rick Larson, the same individual who did so much research on the Bethlehem Star. And what he found was that there actually is evidence of this earthquake that we see in the Gospel of Matthew at the death of Jesus. It talks about rocks splitting, it talks about the temple curtain being torn in two, and also the earth quaking. It turns out that the Dead Sea, which is just down the hill from Jerusalem, records in its sediment layer every seismic event. And this is because there are visible layers of sediment that change each year, twice a year, in the Dead Sea, because we have these desert dust storms that come and deposit a line of different color sediment, and so the geologists can count down, and lo and behold, we do see the actual timeline of different earthquakes, and there was an earthquake in that 33 AD when Jesus died there on the cross. So great evidence of that. There's a lot of imagery of Jerusalem too, film of Jerusalem in that movie, so well worth seeing. It's only an hour and 12 minutes, but it'll really get you thinking about what happened to our Lord during Holy Week. Then on Monday of Holy Week, you see we have an image of St. Joseph here. I'm doing a very short presentation after Monday evening Mass, so at 6 p.m. on St. Joseph. And there is a connection between St. Joseph and Holy Week that we'll bring out during that little talk, and some of the other things that Pope Francis wanted us to think about, because this is, in 2021, is the church year of St. Joseph. So we'll be starting to think about him, and this is part of that. And then on Tuesday night, we will have confessions available after the 5:30 Mass. Wednesday's a little bit of a quieter day, but on Holy Thursday, then we are going to have, of course, the Mass of the Lord's Supper, the traditional washing of feet, and then we're going to have on Good Friday 2 events, the 3 p.m. Stations of the Cross, and then the 7 p.m. Communion service of Good Friday, where we recall the Lord's Passion and His death and recognize it in a solemn way. And then we'll have a period of prayer in the parish hall with kind of the reposed elements of the Blessed Sacrament, not an exposed monstrance, but similar to what we used to do in the chapel each year, but that would feel a little too crowded with COVID still going on. We'll have it in the parish hall. We'll have the altar laid out there, and some time with Jesus between the end of the Good Friday service and then also midnight. So that's what we'll be doing on Good Friday, and then the Easter Vigil at 8 p.m. on Saturday evening, where we bring new people into the church. That's a special service. And remember, most of us did not get to have a regular Holy Week, a regular Easter last year. So I especially encourage you to come out to some of those really important events of the Triduum. We have a robust Easter Day schedule also that's in the bulletin. And we even have Easter evening Masses, the 5 p.m. and the 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is really important because our hospital workers and some of our shift workers only really can get away at the end of that Sunday, and we don't want anybody to miss Easter Mass. So we have a great set of events coming up. It's important to celebrate the Lord's resurrection and also think about what He did for us. On another note, many people are asking the question, when do we start to see some physical evidence of the building project? And here's how I see it. Another important question is, are we doing the preliminary preparatory work first? And that will ensure a successful building project. Remember, the project that we're engaged in now, it has to meet the needs of the parish for the next 50 or even 100 years. So planning is essential. I think of the image of a tree in your yard. You know, if you have a big pine tree or oak tree in your yard, what's most important when time goes on? Probably that it has really good roots. And for a building project, the roots are things like researching what is our real need. Our water issues, so the buildings don't flood and we don't have that kind of problem anymore, are those really resolved? Do we have the buildings in the right places to meet all the needs? Have we worked with the city in a preliminary way so there's no surprises later with permitting? Have we worked with the neighborhood association so they understand the project? All those things I've mentioned, we are doing and have been doing, and very thoroughly. We have a meeting every week with the civil engineers, and they've been talking to the city and making sure that what we're doing is already okay with the city, and we're foreseeing any kind of questions they may have, because we want a project that once the building starts, it really goes smoothly. So that's all being done, and the roots are being laid correctly so that the structure, both in how we use it and the structure itself, and whatever else we do on the campus that's connected to that, really work well for us and for generations to come. And I think that we're covering that well. And so we will see building and stuff starting, but these few last parts of the preparatory, underground, invisible, but really important phases have to occur first, and we're almost done with those. We'll be talking a little bit more about the final phases of the fundraising after Easter, but so far what we've done quietly has gone very well because the need for the project, and I think people want to invest in their faith. They want to give something to the future, just like has been given to all of us. So we have a great week ahead of us. Easter, try to avail yourself of the confession service on Tuesday and those other things that I mentioned. And let's keep each other in our prayers. You certainly have been in mine, and I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible during this coming Easter week. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.